So the tutorial we start at 3:10. Okay, hopefully 3:10 because we start at around 3:10 here. Okay, so this chapter is lectures and flip-flop. So the main difference is it have memories. Okay, so it's a you please refer to the module for those that having module. Okay, for those that didn't, I hope you get some relevant sources to refer to, or maybe you can ask your friend to do whatever sharing, however that you able you to see to read the module. Okay, uh, my video present using the last year module. Okay, more or less it has the main content, but maybe some addition to the because of the new module. Okay, but basically hopefully the 2021 in my video will cover as much as possible. Okay, if you see the slide here, is just more or less is photos. Okay, so the details, of course, the wording you can find in the module or internet sources. Okay, no problem. Okay, now we go to this lectures and flip-flop. For those that heavy module, you can go to page 131. Okay, 131. Okay, so we go to this first one. Combinational logics. Okay, whatever that you learn before this is output depends solely on the present inputs. Okay, doesn't subjected to the any memories, doesn't subject to any past input or past output. Okay. Wait. Okay. So has no memories. So this is what it mean by no memories. You need to make sure that you understand some the terms or whatever. That's why in my quiz, I usually test your understanding because you can read. Yes, you can read whatever, right? But I will test your understanding because if you don't understand, you cannot answer it even though you have module, even though your quiz is open book. This is where that you're going to know whether you have good understanding or not about the topic. Okay. Sequential logic, okay, output depends not only on the present but also on past history of inputs. If you have watched my 2021 video, you pretty much understand and it will be more easier for you to understand the current lecture. Because my current lecture is actually doing the add-ons or summarization. Okay, so in my 2021 lecture, I discuss page to page of the module. Okay, so I cannot, again, like I told everyone in every class, I cannot force you to watch if you don't want to watch. Okay, but if you want to learn, you will watch. Okay, has memory. Okay, means that it will subjected to past history of an input. Okay, this input can be coming from your past output or it can be coming from your past inputs, depend. Okay, but at least it have some loop back. What does it mean by loop back? Wait. Loopbacks means if you have the circuits, okay, what can I do? Why it doesn't? Okay, why this one doesn't go up? Okay, this one I don't like Webex. Okay, bye. Okay, so if you have okay, what can I do? Okay, never mind. So if you have the circuits, okay, whatever, you have your inputs and you have your outputs. This is the normal one that you have learned so far before this chapter. Okay, the sequential circuits mean your output might have the dependence of the past input or past output. So it means there is loop back. Okay, you be always it be some sort of you're going to have some loop back lah. So this is the memory. You will learn you when you watch my videos 2021 you'll be you know about this. Okay. So synchronous sequential logic is we using the clock signal. Okay, clock signal is a signal where it's going to have a fixed temp period. Okay. Okay, this is a clock. Okay. So if you have rising edges, this is your rising edges, which is the positive, and you have the negative, which is the rising falling edges. Okay. So depending on which is using. For example, if you have a clock, okay, for example, if you have a clock that is using the rising edge, maybe it is just like this. But if it's okay, if it's following the operation of falling edges, which is this one, it will have this some sort of bubble to show inversion, and like this. Okay. Use a clock signal to regulate operation. Simple to design. The asynchronous sequential logic simple. It doesn't have clock. Okay? But however, all the sequential has an information of the past history of inputs or outputs. Okay. Then we go to the next page is the bistable circuit. This one is very simple. The most simple one. Okay, any circuit stable is in either 0 or 1, has a memory, because whatever the information here of the past output is feedback to the circuits. Okay, value does not change by itself. Simple bistable circuit which is a cascaded inverter. So how we going to so this table, if this circuit, if it's continuously, it's going to have the same 0 or the same 1. What should we do if you want to have different output? Can you guys respond to me? What we should do if you want to have different value of outputs? If you watch my video, you know how to answer. This one, this bistable circuit, it will continuously have the same value. It's either 0 or 1. But what if we want to have different value of output? What should we do? Don't Can you answer this in the Google Webex chat? Anyone can answer? This one, there will be no changes. We cannot change. But what if we want to change? Hmm. No one able to answer. Okay. So you look back at the page 1 to 3 of the module. Okay. What if we want to change the output? What should we do? Okay. Next is the SR latch. Okay, SR latch is that if you see this SR latch, this is S representing set, and this is R representing reset. Q is the output, and Q bar is simply the inverted output. If this is 0, means this will be 1. So this is your gate level schematic for SR latch. As you can see, the output is feedback to be one of the input. So this is sequential circuits. Okay, sequential circuit, it have the information of past input or past output. Okay, so you see here SR. If it's 0, 0 means reset is 0, set is also 0. At this point in time, the future value, which is Q plus, plus means future. Okay, means the future output will follow the previous output, which is just Q, means no change at all. Okay, for the Q bar, for the Q bar plus is normal, it's just inversions. Okay. And then when it goes to this one, set of 0 and reset of 1 means at this time it is a reset. Okay, at this time the reset is activated, reset to 0. So that's why you have Q bar here is simply 0 because it's reset to 0. And if this is 0 means this one is the inverse of it, which is 1. So at this condition it is a reset operation. Okay, then the next one is the set function where the set is activated and the reset is deactivated. So what does it mean by set? Mean we will set it the value to 1. Okay, so your Q next future output, which is Q plus, will be 1, and of course the inversion is 0. However, for the SR latch, okay, for the SR latch, the forbidden state is entered when both of S and R is equals to 0, is equals to 1. Okay, you cannot have this value at the same time. You can have S, 1 and R at the same time. Because if you have this condition which is forbidden, your Q plus will be 0 and Q bar will be 0. It's not possible because this one have supposed to be inversion of this. So this one is the inversion state. Okay. Sorry, forbidden state. Okay. Next is the gated SR latch. So what is the difference? Okay, what is the difference between gated SR latch and SR latch? Anyone can answer? The word gated. Okay, what does it mean by gated? Now you see the photo here. Can you simply just say to me, because it's very obvious, what is the difference between gated SR latch and SR latch? This is SR latch and this is gated SR latch. What does it have in different? And if you watch my video, you can know actually, because I already present. What is the difference between gated SR latch and SR latch? There is maybe many different, but what is the main difference that you can see from the picture itself? Come on. It's not like I'm doing movie, eh? I'm doing interactive class. You have to participate in the class. Because it's enough that you're going to answer the test, not me. Okay, for the gated SR latch, in comparison, in difference with the SR latch is that it have enable signal. Okay, enable signal. So enable means that we can control whether it's going to perform latch operation or not. Okay. So here, if you have your enable is 1, okay, 1, it will enable the latch operations. Okay, it will open gate. Okay, that's why it's called gate. It will open the gate for SR inputs. We will start receiving the inputs to cross couple gates. This is a cross couple gate. So it's work like ungated SR latch. When enable is 1, okay, when enable is 1, it will enable the latch operation, and this at this condition it will follow the ungated SR latch. So ungated SR latch will be like the one that we having discussed just now, the previous SR latch. Okay. If you have the enable assigned with value 0, okay, the latch operation is disabled. It will not perform the latch operations. Okay. At this stage, it hold the previous state. So if the previous state is no change, it will be no change. If the previous state is 1, it will be 1. Okay. And at this condition, because it doesn't perform latch operation, so it will ignore whatever input that we have, means don't care. Okay. Okay. So if you see this one, the gated SR latch, okay. Okay, not. Okay, never mind. So this here gated SR latch with the enable, signals. You have enable input. So if enable is 0, okay, if enable is 0, it doesn't perform the SR, it doesn't perform latch operation. So at this time, it ignores the input of SR. That's why you have don't care. And it just follow the previous value, which is Q. Okay. Your future will just follow your present inputs. Okay. At this time, there is no change. Okay. Next, what if the enable, you have the rising edge. Okay. This one is the rising edge, mean when you have the signal is from low to high, so this is rising. Okay, means positive edge trigger. You can have negative edge trigger. Positive edge trigger means it's going up. Okay, rising edge. Negative edge trigger is going down. Okay, so this one is enabled with 1. Okay, means rising edge trigger. And if you the time you have 0 0. Okay, if this 0 is don't care, then after that, if this is all rising edge, you can see it is start to, we need to put some input combination there. Okay, so 0 0, what does it mean by 0 0? It will, when enable is activated, simple for gate added SRLH, it will perform the SRLH operation. Okay, so at this it is enabled, so 0 0 will be no change, 0 1 will be reset, 1 0 will, hello, wait. Saya tengah meeting, kenapa ni? Okay, so you have sorry, disturbance just now. Okay, so is 0 0 means no change, and then 0 1 is simply reset, means you reset your Q plus is equals to 0. Of course, this one is Q bar, this one is Q bar. Mm, this one, there is some wrong here, is Q bar. How can I make it? That's why I don't want to share to you the slide before. This one is Q bar. Okay. Okay, never mind. You, at least you know Q bar. And then if it's 1, it will be set. The same as SRLH when it is enabled. Okay. And then so these operations, how is this? It has been explained in detail in 2021 lecture video. I hope every one of you watch lecture video, because every time I will ask you to watch before. If you don't watch it, maybe it's most probably that you are blur. Okay. When entering my class, of course, because if you watch the lecture video, even before coming to class, you already have some information. It will be easier to digest. Okay. But I cannot like, please watch Hibat, please watch Aber, please watch Muhammad, please watch. I cannot do that. It's depend on you to watch it. Okay. I give the links already. It's depend on you. I know a few have watched, because I can see from the YouTube. YouTube will mention to me how many have watched. It's around 6 people have watched, including myself. I myself watch my own video. I myself learn from my own past video. But you don't. Some of you didn't, but it's okay. Hopefully, I don't know. No. Maybe it's okay. Maybe you are born Einstein, something like that. You don't need to watch the videos, even though I ask you to watch the videos. Okay. Okay. So here, if you see, this is the enable. Okay, is this enable? This one is the positive rising edge. Okay, positive edge. So this one will be we start to have these changes when we encounter the positive edges. positive rising edges. So at 0, when enable is a 0 here, you can see here 0, 0, 0 for the enable. There is no change in the output. Okay, there is no change in the output. For example, okay, if you have this as 0 here, 0, your next output will be no change. Okay, so you have 0, 0, 0. This one is 0, means it follow the same previous outputs. Okay, 0. Then this one is 0 and this one is 1. Okay, so what is the next operation? This one, please refer to the 2021 because I've been using these videos in the book. In the video, I have been explaining in detail one by one. For example, what happened here, what happened here, and what happened here. Okay. Maybe one of the way for me to see for your understanding before the test, before the final, maybe the quiz. The quiz maybe will test you on this. Okay. The next quiz, if I'm not mistaken, I think I did mention the quiz here. Okay. So the quiz will be touching on the latches and flip-flop and also arithmetics. This one is covered by test 2 as well. Test 2 is until here, but your quiz 5 is 9 and 10. Okay. I will be testing this also for you to, you need to know what you don't know. So one of it is by having quiz. It's better to lose some mark in the quiz than having to lose many marks in the final. Okay. So I think I will, no, because it's 10 question, right? Maybe a lot of things can be touched. Maybe for example, one question on T flip-flop, one question on JK flip-flop, one question on D flip-flop, one question on D latch, one question on get SR latch, and then maybe test your understanding or theories what is about sequential, about combinational circuits. Okay. Um, Next is actually delays. Okay, delays sometimes we call it as a transparent latch. Okay. What does it mean by transparent? It has been explained in my 2021 videos. It's actually just like it just reflect back the input signal as the outputs. Okay, but you can refer to the 2021 lecture video. I explaining also on the transparent, and also inside the module has been explained about the transparent. Okay, so in this D latch we actually modify. Okay, we modify our SR latch to deal with the forbidden state. Okay, because in the gated SR latch and in ungated SR latch, we have problem with forbidden state. Forbidden state is that when we have both SR is equals to 1. At this condition, Q and Q bar will be equivalent to 0, 0, which is wrong. It's not it's a forbidden state. So in D latch, we try to solve this problem by modifying our SR latch in order to deal with this forbidden state, okay, to avoid this forbidden state. So if you see, there is some additional circuits, okay, additional circuit where we have this OR gate. Sorry, NOT gate. We add the NOT gate. Okay, so your D will be connected to directly with one of the gates here, and the next one is connected to the NOT gate before and the next gate. Okay, So if it's enabled to 1, okay, the latch become transparent. So input D is passed to output after some delay. So there is always some delay in the circuits. That's why sometimes we put in the word, for example, in the timing diagram, sometimes they put assuming no propagation delay, or if you get question, for example, assume propagation delay, then you need to draw in such a way that there is some delay in your output in correspond with your input signal. Depends, depends. So this one is, sorry, input is passed to output Q after some delay. Okay, there is some delay lah. Okay, and enable 0, when it's enable 0, it doesn't perform the latch operation. So it's important for you to understand the latch operation first, because it has been used in gated SR latch. It also been used in the latch. If you don't understand the basic latch operation, maybe it will be propagating to further non-understanding of the next one lah, which for example gated and the latch. Okay, enable 0, it disable the latch operation, means it doesn't perform the latch operation when it is equals to 0. Okay, ignores the input when enable is 0. It's easy. When enable is 0 means it's disabled. Okay, up until now is enable is 0, it is a disabled latch. However, you need to see whether the enable circuit having inverted or doesn't have inverted. Okay, if it's inverted means this one is vice versa lah. When it's inverted, this one is 0, this one is 1. So you need to be sensitive in the drawing. Okay, in the drawing, sometimes the question can be tricky. It can put negative. It can put inverse. Otherwise it's just like this. Okay. So when enable is 0, it's disable the latch operation. It doesn't care about your D inputs, the D signals, and it hold last D input when enable went 1 to 0. Okay, it will hold the last D input, the last D input when enable went from 1 to 0, means falling edges. Okay, falling edges means going from step 1 state 1 to state 0. Okay. Any question? Okay, no question. Good. For me, no question is okay. I assume everyone understand. But whether you understand or not, we're going to see in the quiz. Okay. Anyway, okay. Okay, so this is the D latch. Okay, this is the D latch transparent. Okay. So if you see, this is the D latch with the inversion, and this is if you want to extend the circuits. If you want to extend the circuit, it will look like this. Okay. So if you have enable 0, okay, because we following the edges. Okay, we following the edges, we're not following the step. Okay, if it's the enable 0, okay, it will be the storage state. What does it mean by storage state? Means it just follow the previous value. Okay, so your output, okay, your future output will just follow the similar past output, which is the Q. Okay, and if we start to have rising edges, then it will have for example rising edges and enable 1. Okay, it will follows it will activate the latch operation. Okay, why we only have D here? Because we only have one output, which is based on D. The previous one we have S and R. Okay, in the D latch it is based on one input, and you can add on the NOT operation. Okay, so enable rising edge. So you have 0, and this one will be transparent mode because it's like a reset. Okay, it's like a reset. Means then the next one is if you have enable 1 and you have D is 1, so it's like a set. So you're going to have a 1. Okay. Okay. So you see there is a enable here. This is 1, this is 0, this is 1, this is 0. This is the rising edge. Okay. This is the falling edge. Actually, the name can be, they can use many names, but you have to at least know lah what does it mean, right? Falling edge, rising edge. Okay. Okay. So here you can see it is enable 0. Okay, enable 0, and you can see what happened is when you enable 0, it doesn't care about D operation. Okay, it doesn't care about D operation. I mean D inputs. It will just follow the previous output. So if the previous output is 0, it will become 0 here. Okay, because enable 0, regardless of what your input is, it will perform the storage state. Means it just follow the previous output. The next, when you have the positive edges, okay, you have your positive edges. This one is this is the delay. This is the delay, means it will not change directly. If it's without delay, it will change directly. For example, this one is with delay. We have delay. So otherwise, if without delay, it will change directly after each of this. Okay, for example, okay. So now if you have enable rising edges, this one is rising edges. Okay, and then after that rising edges, your D is 0. Okay, your D is 0. So what happened is that transparent mode, transparent mode 1, so it will just follow 1. Okay, until here. Okay, so it just transparent whatever that you have. For example, this is 0, it will be 0, and if D is 1, it will be 1. So here is a transparent transparent mode. Okay, and then if you have 0, you see, if you have 0 here, it will maintain, it will perform the storage state where it just follow the previous output. That's why you have, this is the previous output. So it just do the same here, because it is, in this situation, it is a storage state, and so on. Okay, make sure you understand the operation, otherwise it'll be challenging to fill out the timing diagram. Okay. Next one is this clock inputs. We have clock inputs. Synchronous digital system use clock. Okay. So what I've been just now in the beginning of the lecture, I mentioned about the clock. The clock is clock signal is distributed to all system components. So all output change simultaneously when we have a clock pass. Clock is actually periodical signal, means it always have the same period. It will have the same frequency lah, unless we change it. Okay, of course. So this is the clock, and this is not a clock. This is not a clock because you can see the periods are not the same. Period is actually one cycle, one complete cycle for a signal. So this one is complete cycle T1. This one is complete cycle T2. If you notice, they are not the same time, the same period. So this one is not a clock. Okay, need to have similar period, then it will consider a clock. Okay, so okay, you see here, the latch here doesn't use the clock. Okay, the latch doesn't use the clock. Okay, it use 0 or 1. Okay, the gated latch, it will enable when the clock is high. Okay, the gated latch. And then the flip-flop trigger by rising or falling clock edge. Okay, trigger by rising or falling clock edge. Like this just now. Okay, when it's 0 for the lead latch, it will follow. Wait ah. Ya dah sampai ke? Dah sampai ke? Tunggu. Okay. Sorry 10 minutes. I need to take something downstairs. Wait Okay, sorry for the disturbance. Share. Okay, I am sorry. Okay, you cannot say to the postman whatever. Don't come. Okay, they will, of course, they will send things, and you cannot say cannot. Okay, so because I think you understand. Okay, when the postman come, you just need to take your things. Okay, not my things. It is for my student final year project. Okay. Okay. Where were we? Okay, so if you see if there is a zero here, okay, if you see there is zero here, so it doesn't, it ignores whatever happened, whatever you have with your D, okay, it will just proceed to the next, to the previous output that you have, which is if this is zero, is this the next one will be zero in storage state. And then if you have the signal of having the high value, which is 1, okay, then what happen is that if your D is 0, okay, sorry, enable is 1. This is not a 1. This one, if you notice, wait, you need to be careful in this way. Okay, this one sometimes is showing 1, sometimes is showing clock edges, rising edge. This one is rising edge. Okay, sometimes I also in my previous video 2021, maybe there is some mistake from my side, maybe because it's look the same. It's because I'm doing my recording on night time 1:03 a.m. and that time I'm recording until 2 a.m. plus. So it's possible. I'm human. Okay, my it's already tired that time, whatever. I normally record during night time after 12 because that time no background noise. Okay, I have to do it, means I sacrifice my sleep. Okay, but at the same time, because it's normal time for human, didn't do. Okay, so it can be, I can mistakenly say something lah. Okay, so this one is actually 1. Okay, this one is 1. Okay, just now I thought it's a rising edge because now I zoom in, I can see. So if it's a rising edge, okay, you will see that it's showing like an arrow. Okay, so if you see this is if your enable is high at this time, which is this, okay, and if you have your D, which is 1, for example here 1, okay, this is high and this is 1, so it will do the transparent operation. Mean it just follow your whatever you have at your D as your Q, okay, as your Q outputs, okay, and then if you have your D also high. Okay, D is also high. And then if you have, sorry, if you enable is high and your D is 0, okay, it will just follow. Okay, we just follow as the what you have. Okay, with some delay. Okay, if this is high, okay, if this is high, okay, if this is high, this one, and if your D is 0, sorry, and if your D is 0, okay, here, then the next one will be following the previous one. Okay, following the previous one, which is 0, transparent mode. Okay, this is about with this, not delay, this one is Q plus, means after, what happened after. Okay, so flip-flop is triggered by edges. Edges is this one. Okay, you can have rising edges. Wait, for my shape, line, solid line. This one, and then fill, no fill. Okay. So you need to be careful for the flip-flop. It will be based on the edges. Okay, means is triggered by the edges. So it can be many names, okay, for the flip-flop, okay. If let's say, what is the main, let's say the question asks you what is the main difference between latch and flip-flop, okay. Then you know what is different. Flip-flop is triggering by the edges, okay. But the latch is enabled when the clock, with the clock state, not by the edges, okay. So in here is the master slave flip-flop, okay. Master slave flip-flop is that this is your master and this is your slave lah, okay. And the enable operation is different. If this is activated during this time, this will be deactivated, and if this activated, this will be deactivated. So if you see, this is a positive edge trigger and this one is negative edge trigger. You can see based on the node, you have the node inverter function, okay. Okay, so clock high master enable, and then slave disable. Input D is transferably passed on to the Q master. Okay, if so, okay. In here, wait, are they providing the, this one is D flip-flop. This is one is master slave. Wait, I want to see the module. Okay, the module maintain the same as the 2021 lecture video. So if you watch 2021 lecture video, I'm pretty much explain. I pretty much explain what happened. Okay, when the clock is high and the clock is low. Okay, so when the clock high, master enable, slave disable. At this time, the input D is transparently passed on to the Q master. So Q master is here. Okay, if it's clock high, so whatever you have here, it will be passed on directly to here. Okay, when the clock is low, the master is disabled. Okay, then the slave is enabled. Q master is locked and read by the slave. So whatever value that you have here will be passed on to here while the master is deactivated. Okay, the slave will be receiving the outputs. Okay, next is the D flip-flop. Okay, when you have the words D flip-flop, if you refer to page 140, why is like this? Sorry. Okay. So if you see here, this is flip-flop is okay. Now I want to know, is this positive edge trigger or negative edge trigger? This one. Is this positive edge trigger or negative edge trigger? Flip-flop. Can you respond? Is it positive edge trigger or negative edge trigger? What is your answer? Okay. So it is a positive edge trigger. Okay. So means why is positive edge trigger? Because we doesn't have bubble. Okay. So if you see there is clock. Okay. There is clock 0 and 1. Okay. At 0 and 1 we doesn't base the free flow operation will not follow the clock. Okay. I mean will not follow the clock state. It will be following the clock edge. Okay. So 0 and 1 at this time it ignores whatever d value that you have. So means it is no changes at your Q plus. Q plus we just follow the Q, which is the present output or past outputs. Okay. Here is the clock when you start to have edges. Okay. When you start to have positive edges, because this one is a positive edges. So if this positive edges, then it will start to consider what is the D input. Okay. So if it's 0 means it's a reset. So it will be Q plus will be reset to 0. Okay. And if you have at the next rising edge, you have D as 1, it will be set as 1. Okay. Set. Okay. Okay, so this one is the timing diagram. Okay, I have been explaining the timing diagram inside my 2021 lecture video. Please watch it if you don't watch it, or if you need to clear more of your understanding, you can refer it again. Okay, because it's very detailed. 1 hour 15 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, the part 1. Then we have another part 2. Okay. Some student may complain it's too long, whatever. Okay, but my intention is to help the student to have more information. Okay, because you cannot satisfy everyone. Okay, students. Okay, you cannot satisfy everyone. Some students prefer it to be shorter. Some students prefer it longer. The one that prefer it longer, they appreciate lah. They actually lecturer trying to explain as much information as possible. Okay, but in the end, you cannot satisfy everyone lah. Okay. That video, we have part 1, 1 hour, 50 minutes. And part 2, I think is longer as well. Okay. So, the latch versus positive edge trigger versus DFS versus negative edge trigger. This one is the summarization. Okay. Even in my lecture video, I didn't touch this directly. I touched this after. Okay. So this one you can see in my lecture video, the previous year. Okay, it's going to represent in detail what does it mean by this and comparison. Okay, this one is D latch. Okay, this one is D flip flop positive edge trigger. Okay, having maybe I put some here so that you can see so that you easily know what is the difference. Wait, what should I do about this? Wait, format shape, no fill, line, okay. Okay, here. Okay. So at least you can see lah. And then I put here another red so that you can see the difference between all of these chip. I just simply call this chip, but okay. Okay, you can see the difference. Okay. Okay, so we finished on that. Okay, please watch the lecture video 2031. If you haven't watched it, please watch it. And of course, the recordings. Okay, I stop the recording now because we're going to proceed with the next session, which is the